Hey guys, I just got out of the gym. I'm feeling fucking great. Just did shoulders, clean and press, one arm push-ups, side raise, reverse flies, and then bear crawls with 50 pounds on me, 45, whatever it is. Guys, I fucking love working out, and I want to explain something to you, man. It is the best thing we can do, and it's not a but guys, why are we working out? We're working out because working out is the way to get stronger. It's not just about getting physically stronger. Yes, you can lift more weights, obviously, but it's about becoming a fucking warrior. It's about training your body so that you can utilize it for fucking combat. I can't stand these stupid fucking millennial little piece of shit fitness influencers that all they care about is looking good and looking attractive, so that because they think that's going to make them popular. They just want popularity. And they to me, it's a whole spiritual battle of being a warrior. And that's why, like, the way I work out, everything that I do is fucking complex movements. Okay, I don't fuck around with this stupid bullshit of like going like that in to get inside of your chest. Like, I don't give a fuck. Like, look, I want to look good, but I don't need to be a fucking bodybuilder. I don't need to, be perfect. And personally, I think a lot of those guys aren't that athletic. Like, they don't have. I'm about functional strength, kind of like a CrossFit. I think is cool, although I think a lot of the shit that they do is with shitty form, and they get themselves injured. But at least their philosophy, I think, is more in line with what I'm about. But fitness is the number one thing for me. Like, I work out 5 times a day, and it is the most important thing in my life, because without it, everything else falls apart. And this today is a very special day, okay? And I think it's important. This is kind of an anthropological conversation. I think it's really important for men to have either an ancestor or like someone that they can see themselves in. Maybe they're the same ethnicity or nationality, or just somebody who went through a similar life experience, but someone who really became a great warrior, great leader, just a great man among men, did something great with their lives. You can kind of like use as like a spirit guide, like an archetypal male that stands for something. Like, for me, it's like Jose Mujica, former president of Uruguay. And the other one would really be like Lyle Alzado. He was just a fierce, tough man. And I kind of look at Stallone like that. I kind of look at, guys like Mike Tyson. But really, it's like Jose Mujica and Lyle Alzado for me. And Lyle Alzado today, it's May 14th. He died. This is he died on May 14th, back in the early 90s. But he was the first major athlete to come out and admit that he took steroids. And he if he wouldn't have said anything, he for sure would have been in the Hall of Fame. But he tarnished his own legacy to use his story as a cautionary tale to admonish others with himself to not use steroids, and to not, because of the deleterious effects of it. And it's like I worked out. I'm wearing his jersey right now. That's why I got this on, in honor of him. And he wasn't the biggest, he wasn't the best athlete, but he just had a lot of heart, and he was just super tough and never gave up, and he had a real rage, and he used that rage out in the football field. And he was easily, if you look up his name, Lyle Alzado, they call him the most feared man in the NFL. And grew up in Brooklyn. Guy was a real street fighter. He grew up really rough. His father was abusive. One story is, when he was 14 years old, his dad was going after his mother, and he came out and he broke his father's jaw. He was a boxer too. He said, "This is a real tough guy. This is a real badass. This guy doesn't need to go around talking about how tough he is. He just is that way." Everybody knows he's badass, and he plays like it, and he competes like it, and he carried himself like it. But he was also a very giving man. He was also a very loving man. He loved just as fiercely as he hated, as he fought, because he spent a lot of time with children, sick children, like raising money for charities. In 1978, the Broncos won the AFC Championship game against the Raiders, which, by the way, was bullshit because Floyd Little fumbled the fucking ball and they didn't call it. I'm a Raiders fan. We would have won, but it is what it is. But Lyle Alzado, who was most famous for being a Raider, was on the Broncos back then. And after the game, they're going to go to the Super Bowl now. He goes out to downtown Denver with some friends of his and collects money for charity. That was the type of person he was. I mean, there's a story of a guy that was out in a parking lot. 4 guys were about to fucking jump him, and Lyle Alzado came out of nowhere, saw what was going on, and beat all 4 guys up. And later, this guy and Lyle Alzado, I forget the guy's name, they became lifelong friends. The guy was telling the story. It was way back in the 80s. But that's the kind of guy this was. Like, he was the guy that would stand. He was the guy that beat up the bully for picking on some kid who either maybe couldn't defend himself or was getting ganged up on, whatever. He was that guy that would stand up for someone like that. And I just feel like, we don't really have real badasses anymore. We have guys that, do the tattoos and talk about how badass they were. And, like, here's the thing. Like, it's not badass to go to jail. I mean, yeah, you have to be badass to survive in jail, but, like, to me, like, going to jail, like, I mean, unless you're falsely accused, like, dude, you fucked up. You were doing something shitty, and you got caught, and you're in fucking jail. So, like, I don't want to hear this, like, oh, I'm a badass because I did a 10-year stretch. Like, dude, it's a lot harder not to go to prison, especially if you're a man with aggressive tendencies. Like, dude, you think I don't have urges to go and fucking knock somebody out? You don't think I have urges to, to get easy money? You don't think I have urges to, like, lie to people? I mean, but I don't do it because I'm not a scumbag and I hold myself to a certain standard. And I'm not gonna, and I have a code of ethics that I follow. But we all have the urges. It's just when we give into them, and the lust for power, the lust for money, the lust for all these things that supersede integrity and honor, like, sometimes they get the best of us, but that's a weakness of character, right? So that's why, like, when I hear someone like Wes Watson talk about how badass he is, I mean, I think it's a lot more badass not to go to fucking prison. I think it's a lot more badass to, like, not fucking go after the easy money. And I know he's saying that now, and that's good. And, like, look, I respect the fuck out of the man for being successful, but, like, I look at him and I compare him to someone like Lyle Alzado, and I'm like, dude, Lyle Alzado would have fucking wiped the floor with this guy. And Lyle Alzado didn't need to fucking take get all tatted up and talk about how badass he is, and he just, he played with a fucking rage. He played with a fury. He was afraid of nobody. He fought Muhammad Ali in an exhibition fight. Like, he collected for the mafia when he was a kid. Like, he's been in multiple street fights. Like, he's gone to jail. Like, he's from Brooklyn. Like, the guy beat the fuck out of his own father for abusing his mother. Like he was told he was nothing his whole life by his dad, and he was told he was too small and couldn't do this, and he overcame it all. Now, yeah, he took steroids, okay, fine, but he came out and he fucking told the truth. He came out and he told the fucking truth. And that's the reason I have so much respect for him, is that he didn't have to do that. He could have just said nothing and died, and it's just, people would have just been sad that he died. But he came out and he told the fucking truth, and I think that deserves so much respect, because he didn't have to do that. That was who he really was a good man, a man that wanted to do good, but that couldn't get over the rage and that came from having a fucked up childhood and not having a loving father, and having to fight all the time, and that being the way that he got by, and then and that became who he was. But the other side to him, was very, not everybody really knew that about him, but that's really how he was. I mean, somebody that would go out on the town after the AFC title game to fucking donate money, or to get people to donate money to charity, go spend time with children, that really shows a man who a man is, because a man's hobbies show who he really is. What a man does in his spare time is who he really is. So like I don't know how these I don't know what Bedros Keuilian or Wes Watson or Ed Milet or Grant Cardone, I don't know who they really are. I don't fucking know. I know they have a lot of good stuff to say. It's great. Yeah, they're very motivational. They're gifted speakers. I listened to Ed Milet yesterday. The guy's a phenomenal speaker. And I even think Wes Watson is a phenomenal speaker. Like, these guys are talented, but I don't know who the fuck they are. I don't know. I know what Lyle Alzado is, because a man that tells the truth is a good man. So, point of this is just to make a tribute to a good man, to a misunderstood man, a man that had a lot of pain, went through a lot of suffering. And like my grandfather always told me, there's no pain like emotional pain. And that emotional pain is what he had and what he fought, and what ultimately caused him to check out, to die. So guys, if you're dealing with emotional pain, understand that the peace is on the other side. And sometimes you gotta walk through the valley of death to get there. You gotta lean into it sometimes. And it fucking hurts. You gotta spend some dark nights with the soul. But don't, that's what, the fitness, the working out hard, not just doing some bullshit gains, but like really fucking pushing yourself to the point where you can't do anymore. Compound movements or high intensity interval training, whatever it is, martial arts, like that kind of training, full body, or at least compound, like something that's real, not this muscle isolation bullshit. You do that, you get the mental clarity. You spend time alone in solitude. You spend time alone in solitude with that clear mind, and then you're able to see who you really are. You'll remember who you really are. That's all I gotta say, guys. I'm out.